All right, we're running this, and hopefully there is no weird reverb because my laptop is right next to me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the We Hate More Sports Podcast. My name is PC, aka Cameron, aka Philly, aka the guy that is well running both shows. And as you can see, it is only me tonight. Which means that this episode's probably going to end up being shorter than I wanted it to be. But you know what? It's okay. It's cool because we're still experimenting with this format of the show. It's meant to be a bit more laid back. This is the first time that I've done this. Um, for those who don't know, I record on Skype. We all record. We always record on Skype for the most part, and realized I needed at least two people in order to record something. So I spent like the last half hour trying to set up a fake account, which is why you probably see decoy for podcast, right? Yeah, that's just my laptop right next to me, as you can see. Uh, well, you can't see. It's right here. That's just a decoy. Um, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. This will probably end up being in video format. Uh, Once again, this is the first time that I've tried this. Um, Still experimenting with the idea of just one person, even doing this version of the podcast. But I get to talk about you. I get to talk with all of you about all different variations of sports. Because while football and basketball are great, there is a plethora, a thesaurus, a dictionary, a melody, melody of sports out there to explore and to learn and to acknowledge. And that's what this podcast is for. That's what this version of the pod is for. So welcome back to the We Hate More Sports Podcast. This is episode 2. Recording currently on Saturday night. Um, I wanted to record on Friday night, which what I think which will probably end up being the go-to recording day. But it still all works out because you know the rest of the crew, they have a lot going on that they're doing. So I figured I work 9 to 7 today. I have enough time to record tonight. So we're gonna record tonight. And you get to listen and look potentially at my lovely face because I'm a one take kind of guy. So yeah, let's do this. I don't really have like a set outline here. It's really more so bullet points that I've written down that I really wanted to talk about. And we're going to go over the MLB. We're going to talk about the first half of the season. I'm going to give out awards for the first half of the season. We'll be going and discussing WWE and AEW as well. We talk about LA Knight. We talk about Blood and Guts. I might even throw in a shout out to Slammiversary here and there. And some other let's say interesting things that I saw today. We'll be going over all that. So strap in, get yourself a nice seat or couch, wherever you sit on, wherever you prefer, wherever's comfortable to you, for you. Put on your AirPods and listen to my lovely voice. Episode 2 of the We Hate More Sports Podcast. If you haven't listened to us already, we have another version of the podcast. It's called We Hate Sports, where we center really around football and basketball. So go and check us out. Episode 132 will be posted next Wednesday. You could check out episode 131 this week, which was a doozy. So make sure you go and check us out. Make sure to follow all of our socials as well at WHS_podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and We Hate Sports on YouTube and TikTok. Okay, so let's jump right into the first thing I want to talk about tonight, which is MLB. They're officially back from All Star break. All Star game saw for the first time in a really long time the National League defeat the American League on the back of Philadelphia Philly players, mind you. The Phillies saving America, and this year they saved the NL. First time in 11 years that National League has been the American League. They won 3-2. Last Diaz ended up taking home the All Star Game MVP. Last Diaz, I'm not gonna lie, full transparency. I even know what team he played for before the All Star Game. But I guess it goes to show that at least one representative for each team needs to be there because the man played for the Rockies and he ended up hitting the go-ahead home run. So the more you know. Craig Kimbrell, closer for the Phillies, perfect this season and still perfect in the All-Star game. Uh, set struck out, I believe it was Jose Ramirez to end the game. Rob Thompson, working his wonders, helped the NL pick up the victory. Um, I think it's just very poetic, you know. I think it's really poetic. The Phillies, hey, they only had officially as players, they only had two guys go: Rick Kimbrell, Nick Castellanos. Nick Castellanos, who I think has been having an incredible year, went, I believe it was 1 for 2 in that game. He had a hit, and he had a walk. And that walk set up the Elias Diaz go ahead to run bomb. So and they'll pick up the victory. And then Craig Kimbrell, who I think we gotta admit at this point, dude's having a career resurgence this year. He is quite literally perfect in all of his save opportunities this year, and thus in the All Star game this season, managed to strike out Vladimir Guerrero. He managed to avoid Julio Rodriguez, who I think a lot of people were just expecting to like hit like a walk off home run, because he's from Seattle. He walked him so he can get to Jose Ramirez to strike him out to end the game. So breathe a sigh of relief. Don't worry. Don't worry, NL. The Phillies are here to save you. Rob Thompson and his staff. All right. They're here to save you. And that's what happened. In a game that was it's pretty solid. I don't think a lot of people should have expected a lot from this game, to be honest with you, especially with all the major stars out for the AL. This was the NL's best chance, the best opportunity that they were going to get to win this year, and they took it. While really, Kimbrel helped them take it, but you get the point. You get the point. NL, they got the job done, and thus I believe they will have the advantage now in the World Series for that game 4. So that's what went on in the All Star game. We also check out the home run derby, and turns out my intuition was correct because Vladimir Guerrero was my pick to win the home run derby, and he ended up taking the whole thing. He defeated the hometown boy J Rod, in the semifinals. Defeated the last year's champion Pete Alonso, in the first round, and took out Randy Arozarena in the finals, 25-23, in order to win the home run derby this year. Um, I gotta be honest with you, Vladimir Guerrero. I know he's he's basically Dominican Kyle Schwarber. He has so much power, but if he's not hitting the home run, then it's kind of a dud with him because he doesn't really get much hits outside of that. But he has so much power, and it showed in the home run derby. It took him all the way to the finals. So congratulations to Vlad. He is the first. Him and his father are the first father and son duo to win the home run derby in MLB history. Think about that. Uh, I don't know exactly when home run derby started, but to call yourself the first father-son duo to ever win it, that's pretty incredible. That's historic. Um, and yes, it's something that I will brag about, at least until next season. I get to brag about with Gianni because I did end up taking him in the home run derby. I think Gianni said that he was rooting for Mookie Betts to win it. Um, I think Mookie got beat in the first round. So yeah, I'll take that, give myself a nice little pat on the back for that. So that's what went on this past week in the MLB. But now we must get to the WHS MLB first half awards. So we'll be going over MVPs for both conferences as well as uh, NL Cy Youngs, NL and AL Cy Youngs, rookies of the year, my biggest disappointment, my biggest surprise, and the biggest OMG moment of the year thus far. So let's start with the AL MVP. Let's just address the big elephant in the room. It's Otani. It, it's Otani. If you think it's anybody else, don't. It's Shohei. It's Showtime. It's Otani. That dude, Shohei Otani, if you're watching baseball right now, if you are a casual fan, if you are a guy that just watches once a week, if the MLB is smart, if Rob Manfred is smart, you are marketing everything around Shohei Ohtani because he's him. I don't say that lightly. All right. This dude quite literally could be traded any day now for an entire farm system. That's how special he is. That's how great of a talent he is because he is able to get on base. He is a base runner. He's able to pitch really well. Excellent pitcher. I think he leads the AL in strikeouts, leads the MLB in home runs as a hitter. He could do everything. The comparisons to Babe Ruth, who is the only comparison that you can think of when talking about a guy like Otani. And Ruth played during pre-civil rights era. All right, he played before blacks even had a chance to get the acknowledgement that they get. That was the only comparison for Shohei. Yeah, I'm here to tell you right now, he's already surpassed Babe Ruth. Yeah, have same amount of rings as Babe Ruth, but he surpassed Babe Ruth. Shohei Otani is an incredible talent, and if you don't think he's winning MVP this year, if you think it's Corey Seager, all right, cool, Corey Seager. No disrespect to him because he's had an amazing year. He's not winning it. He's not. He's not winning it. Anybody on the Rays, they're not winning it. Can't be judged. Judge is hurt. Might not be able to play uh, past September. It's Otani. If you think otherwise, then you don't know baseball. It's Shohei for AL MVP. He might mess around, even win AL Cy Young. Name a guy that has been able to do that in their lifetime. I rest my case. So now that we addressed the big elephant in the room in terms of AL MVP, let's address something a bit more competitive in the NL MVP. My pick for NL MVP, I think it has to be Ronald Acuna. Um, he's having an amazing year. I really kind of rip my teeth when I think of a guy like Acuna, when I think of a team like the Braves because you know they just so happen to be in the same division my Phillies are, and the Phillies. Uh, if you've been watching them for like the last like 2 months, they've been a red hot team. But the problem is the Atlanta Braves have been a white hot team, and it's been because of this dude Ronald Acuna, man. I mean, he has 30 stolen bases this year, has a good amount of home runs, has a good amount of RBIs as well. It's just, what more do you want me to say? What more do you want me to say? All right, bro. I know you're looking at this. Bro, he's an old head. He lands a Braves fan, so he's probably laughing, gritting, thinking about the fact that I gotta talk about a guy like Ronald Acuna for NL MVP because he's going to end up winning. He was my pick at the start of the year to win. That was if he stayed healthy. Well, he's staying healthy this year, and because of it, the Braves are currently the best team in the MLB, and he is in the running to win NL MVP. Um, he is that damn good. So that is my pick for NL MVP. So now let's go to the Cy Youngs, starting with the NL Cy Young. It might be a bit of a surprise. It might be a bit of a shock to a lot of you, but I'm actually going to go with Padres pitcher Blake Snell. The reason I'm going with Blake Snell, when I think about the Padres, they are underperforming this year. They're currently out of a wild card spot. They're currently out of a playoff spot. All right, and they're actually down 9-3 right now to my Phillies. All right, it's not a fun time. It's not a fun time to be a Padres fan. There's apparently no sense of leadership or direction in that clubhouse. Like it's bad. It's bad. I don't know where the fall off like happened. Because they made it all the way to NLCS last year, but you think with all that talent, they would, be great and at least first in the division, and that's just not the case. Um, but if there's one bright spot this year, I think it's Blake Snell, who has been incredible, especially in his last like 5 starts. If the Padres managed to get their own head out of their ass and finally figure out a way to make this team, who have future Hall of Famers on their in their starting lineup right now, to make this work. If they make this work, it's going to be on the back of Blake Snell, who has had double-digit strikeouts in his last couple of starts. He just had a scoreless streak of about 22 innings. Like, he has been killing it as of late. And I think if the Padres do make a run, one last final push to the playoffs, it's going to be on the back of Blake Snell. And I think a lot of people are going to start to have to put a little bit more respect on his name, because he isn't necessarily looked at as the ace of this rotation that San Diego has, but he should be, because he has been for the last couple of starts. He has been. So that's why Blake Snell, he is going to, I think, end up taking home NL Cy Young. For AL Cy Young, I'm gonna end up going with the guy that's been hurt, but I mean, he led the league in wins before he went down. It's Rays pitcher Shane McClanahan. The Rays, they're second best team in the MLB. They're at least the best team in the AL. And that's got to count for something. That's got to matter for something. And it's because of Shane McClanahan, who, like I said, leads the league in wins. Now he's currently hurt, but when he has been hurt, he's been on one, and hopefully when he comes back from his injury, he, stays on one, because it has helped Tampa Bay so much this year. Gets where they need to be. The reason that they started off the season like 12-0, I believe it was, it's been because, it's been because of their amazing hitting. Their hitting is incredible, but it's been on the back of a guy like Shane McClanahan. So, when he does come back, I think he is going to end up. I think he will end up winning AL Cy Young, because the Raves, I think they need that morale right now in their clubhouse. All right, so as I get going to the rookies of the year, starting with AL Rookie of the Year. Now, I haven't been quite paying attention to the AL Rookie of the Year, side of it, because of the NL Rookie of the Year candidates, which we will get to. But I'm just gonna go with the safe bet here. I'm gonna pick Josh Young from the Rangers. I mean, Rangers have been really good this year, and they've managed to stay healthy for the most part. I know they got Jacob deGrom, but I mean, it's Jacob deGrom. What did they expect? What did they expect? It doesn't matter, because they've been amazing this year. And Josh Young is part of that deadly lineup that they have, where they could just go off for like 10, 12, 14, 16 runs in a game if they really want to. So Josh Young for AL Rookie of the Year. That's great. That's cool. NL Rookie of the Year. Man, it's a toss up. It's truly a toss up this year. You have Ellie De La Cruz, who is probably I think he has the potential to be the face of the MLB. The rate he's going, he has potential to be the face of the MLB. I know I just said that if Ron Manfred is smart, like, he should, center everything around Otani. If anybody has potential for that, it's going to be Ellie. I mean, the dude is just an athletic, genetic freak of a player, and everything he does is just so cool. It's so cool. Um, Man, I'm really glazing this man right now. Uh, I would think, just talking about IRL, but he really is great. But he has really good contention for a guy, that has been in the league, in the majors at least, since the start of the season. I'm talking about Corbin Carroll of the Arizona Diamondbacks, because make no mistake, the Diamondbacks have been just as incredible as the Reds have been this year. I know Elliott's done more, it feels like, in less time, but Carroll has been asserting himself as almost the backbone of this Arizona team that has been incredible this year. Zach Gallen was the starter in the All-Star game, um, you know, because the Diamondbacks have been so incredible this year. The Diamondbacks, um, which we'll, get to sooner or later, they've been like the long shot this year. Like, they're usually like the team that's middle of the pack, or bottom of the division. And they're in a tough ass division every single year. It's either the Giants or the Dodgers, And the Diamondbacks this year, Corbin Carroll this year said, nah, not this year. And they have done something amazing and they have turned this team around. A team that typically is mediocre has become incredible this year. And because of it, Corbin Carroll, um, barring any popularity votes, I think might have a say in winning NL Rookie of the Year. But if you're asking me, I think NL Rookie of the Year needs to go to Ellie De La Cruz because um, I feel like he's not only going to do more in his career, I think he's done more in less time, and he has essentially changed the attitude of the Cincinnati Reds organization. Like the last time the Reds were this good, they ended up trading almost their entire team, and they went into a rebuild after that. And they've been waiting for like a prospect like Ellie to fall in their hands, and he's here and he's beautiful. And the Reds realize this, and now they're capitalizing on that, trying to build for a potential deep playoff push, which in due time, especially in the future, they will get that deep playoff push. I think they will get even a World Series appearance with Ellie at the helm. But um, right now, Ellie De La Cruz, Rookie of the Year, it's between him and Carroll. If you're asking me, I think you have to go with Ellie. So that is who I have for NL Rookie of the Year. So let's go to my biggest sections of the MLB awards. Starting with the biggest surprise. I just talked about them. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, there were a few contenders. I could have said the Diamondbacks. I could have said the Rangers or the Reds or even the Marlins. But the Diamondbacks, I just mentioned it. This is a team that's usually middle of the pack. Like this is a middle of the pack team. Like if you think about like this roster on opening day, you would think to yourself like, oh, this is not a team that's winning more than like 70 games this year. But they've proven a lot of people wrong, um, and I think that because of that, this team has been proving every doubter wrong. At least for the first half of the season. Corbin Carroll, Zach Allen, like I just mentioned, have been amazing for this team. And, because of it, they're leading in first place in the tough ass NL West for the first time in a really long time. Um, Fun fact, I used to play MLB The Show, and I used to have my guy on the Arizona Diamondbacks, one because I thought their outfits were cool, but you know, that's the only time I've ever seen the Diamondbacks in first place in the division. Outside of that, they've always been middle of the back, right on the back. Not this year. They've proven me wrong. That's why they're my biggest surprise. All right. Let's go to my biggest disappointment, though. I had a couple of contenders almost with San Diego Padres, but nah, no. Biggest disappointment belongs to a very special team. And I think everybody's heart, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about the New York Mets, baby. It's all about the Mets, baby. It's about the Mets. Let's go, Mets, baby. Yeah, New York Mets. They have the largest payroll in MLB history. They brung aboard two guys that have multiple Cy Young awards, have a bankroll where they're giving a guy like Daniel Vogelbach a lot of money and Darren Ruff a lot of money, Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. This would have been a World Series team maybe a few years ago, but here's the problem, New York. You have the oldest roster in the league, and these guys' arms, they're dead. Like quite literally dead. Like they can't go at the rate that they used to. And yet you paid them millions of dollars just so you can be fourth in the NL East right now. Um I I mean I don't know what really more else I should say. I can really go on for hours about how bad the New York Mets are, and I can talk about how they quite literally had the biggest choke in a baseball game I've ever seen. But man, And yeah, Mets fans, you're already all miserable. I don't think I should add any more misery to it, to be honest with you. Just know that your team is a disappointment. You're my big um that's why, yeah, you're my big disappointment. So let's go to my last award of the tonight's is the biggest OMG moment of the year. Um Here I go glazing this man again, Mom. It's Ellie De La Cruz. But come on. The dude's an athletic freak. And he proved it. You know how he proved it? Dude stole home after being on first in just 2 pitches. That doesn't happen. I'm gonna need y'all to understand. Anybody that doesn't watch baseball, that doesn't happen. You don't steal second base. You don't steal third base. And then steal home of all bases in 2 pitches. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And yet he did it. Ellie De La Cruz found a way because he's an incredible talent. And he is the next big thing in the MLB. He did it against the Brewers. He's probably going to do it again in his career. You know, just be prepared for it. It's going to be Shohei Ohtani and Ellie De La Cruz as the faces of the MLB. Just mark my words. Mark my words. That was my biggest holy bleep moment of the first half of the MLB season. And we have a wonderful second half to get to. And we'll be definitely going back to the MLB awards, and hopefully Gianni will be there with me to give them out, so that we can, obviously talk about the MLB awards for the entire season. But that was just for the first half. Okay, let's move on. Let's transition into some wrestling talk. So let's talk about WWE real quick. And one guy in particular, one guy that I think deserves his flowers on this podcast, but overall just deserves his flowers in general. It's LA Knight. Let me talk to you. LA Knight is goldmine. LA Knight is someone that I think that WWE has so much potential in. Um, he is quite literally the biggest babyface in the company right now. And you have Cody Rhodes, who's like this like generation's like John Cena slash Hulk Hogan. Like he's great. Like Cody Rhodes is amazing. Um, but LA Knight, LA Knight was originally a heel. Like if you think about it, like from an out of context perspective, like if a casual like person like turned on the TV one night and saw LA Knight on their screen, you would have thought that LA Knight was a heel with the way he acts, the way he talks, the way he's like, "Let me talk to you." Yeah, like he walks, acts, and talks like a heel. But yeah, sometimes it's just really fun to cheer on the bad guy. And LA Knight is the ultimate badass character who I think is quite literally starting a revolution of people that walk, talk, and act like him. Like I already know TikTokers and people, just I know locally that literally just yell out, "Yeah," every now and then. It's fun. Because it's fun. Sometimes I say "Nana" instead of "No." Now it's because of LA Knight, and it's funny. It's just funny. Like this dude, like he was lined up to be a manager. He was supposed to be Max Dupree, and now flash forward a year later, and I think dude is about to become the next United States champion as LA Knight. And I think that's a beautiful thing because I've always been a big fan of him, even during his Impact days. I even followed him to NWA of all places just to watch him work because Sean Richter is an amazing wrestler, incredible person who, for some reason, has done a lot of weird gigs in Hollywood, but still an amazing person, still an incredible wrestler, and dare I say, is the modern day Rock. feel like we're verging, like we're going down that path. Like he has the look, he out walks, Ari walks, talks, and acts like him. Um, he's just a badass, and he's gold mine, and he's a baby face, and he's on his way to becoming the biggest baby face in the company. I think that a lot more people in just a few more months are really, really going to know the megastar, and they're going to start chanting, "Yeah!" and "Let me talk to you." And no, they're about to add that to their vocabulary in just a couple of months because everyone's going to be talking about L.A. Knight. But of course, um, that's I might be getting ahead of myself. Um, just let the man win the U.S. title first, then we'll go from there. So that's really all WWE news I have. Then we got to talk about AEW. AEW has Blood and Guts coming up this coming Wednesday, and it's a jam-packed show. It's got a lot of other stuff. It's going to be a fun event. But Blood and Guts. I just hope that this is the last big hurrah that we get from AEW in terms of blood and gore and violence because I think they're about to start cracking down. I saw reports the other day that they're going to start cracking down on a lot of stuff that you see on TV, and um, one of those may be what you would typically see in a blood and guts match. Blackpool Combat Club taking on the Golden Elite, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Mad Nick Jackson, Hangman Adam Page, and the return of the Golden Star, Kota Ibushi. As a fan of wrestling, as someone that has been waiting for a guy like Ibushi to return to wrestling, to a big stage in wrestling, like the dude's literally just been training in his wrestling school for a couple of months now, just waiting, preparing for this opportunity. Is going to be so electric when he gets that pop from his in-ring return to a big stage like that. To be by his golden lover, Kenny Omega's side. It's going to be incredible. And I might actually shed a tear of joy. Just it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And they're taking on excellent heels still in the BCC with Konosuke Takeshita and Don Callis and Mox and you also have Yuta. Uh, you also have Yuta and the return of Pac and Claudio. It's going to be great. The match is going to be great. I say wrestling is back. I said wrestling is back last week. I said it for a reason. Do yourself a favor. Set your DVR. If you have YouTube TV, make sure you set a reminder for AEW Dynamite this Wednesday night because they're about to kill it in this blood and guts match. If you like wrestling, if you like watching that blood and gore, like actual like blood and gore, because they show it on there, they show it in AEW, do yourself a favor and watch AEW Dynamite this Wednesday night. All right. You are here first. Blood and guts. It's going to be incredible. Blood and guts. Um, so yeah, that's that's what's going on in the wrestling world. So now there really isn't much else to go over. Just a few more headlines I want to talk about. Wimbledon, because I am a tennis geek. Fun fact: I did play tennis all 4 years of high school. Played in college. I was never anything good, but man, I love watching the game. In Wimbledon, it was this year, and the matchup that I think everybody has been looking forward to seeing in the men's singles. Carlos Alcaraz, the 1 seed, taking on Novak Djokovic, the 2 seed. It's going to be an amazing match. You'll probably, if I can stay up long enough tonight to edit this episode so I can get it out before the match in the morning. I genuinely, I don't know who's going to win that match. I don't know. I it's a toss up. It's a toss up. Alcaraz has been red hot, but Djokovic, Joker, he's Joker, so he's going to find a way. But I don't know who wins the match. So yes, we will be seated for that. It's going to be a 5-set classic at Wimbledon Center Court for men's singles Wimbledon's title. So stay tuned for that. But the as far as the women's go, the women's singles champion was crowned just yesterday, or in this case today, as I'm recording today. Um, I'm gonna try to pronounce her name, Marketa Vondrosova. 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 Marketa Vondrosova won the women's Wimbledon's title, um, being Jubar in straight sets, 6-4, 6-4. Um, I wish I knew more about this woman. I literally, like, I don't think a lot of people, especially like, uh, someone like me that only follows like the big events. But in terms of Marquetta, I haven't heard her name until today. I'm sorry, but she has to be pretty good if she made it all the way to the finals and won in straight sets to my favorite to win Wimbledon this year. She has to be pretty good. So congratulations to her on ended up defeating Jubari, like I said, in straight sets 6-4, 6-4. But yeah, all eyes are on the men. All eyes are on Alcaraz and Djokovic. They're going to tear the house down. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. Let's bring it into the end with the best thing I saw last week. So SpongeBob SquarePants, national treasure, cultural icon, legend, history maker. They're still making new episodes to this day. I don't know if I would ever be able to catch up with all the new episodes because the animation, like now, it's not bad. It's actually very fluent. It's just I don't think it's SpongeBob. Nothing will ever beat the original. In a lot of things in the original seasons of SpongeBob, seasons 1 through 3, they were incredible. And that's no slight on new seasons because new seasons had they sometimes they have some jokes that I go on there. I'm like, wow, that's actually really funny. Um, but yes, either way, it's not about the new seasons or whatever. It is about what I saw in one of the newer episodes because in one of the newer episodes, a someone that has been a part of not only my childhood but millions of other kids' childhoods made his debut on the show. Mr. Keith David. Keith David, the legendary voice actor, made his debut on SpongeBob as Gary's. I guess he was like Gary's voice translator, Gary the snail. Because how he's like a cat underwater. I mean, mouse, but he was Gary's translator and ended up calling SpongeBob Papa Bob. And I thought that was actually the most adorable thing I've ever heard because obviously Gary would call SpongeBob his dad, and Papa Bob is something that is so adorable. I think it's actually so cute. And it was voiced by Keith Lee. Um, and Keith Lee, if you don't know who he is, you do know who he is because he's been in multiple projects. You may have heard Princess and the Frog or Rick and Morty or Stomp the Yard or Adventure Time or Saints Row, just to name a few. He's done a lot in his career. He's done a lot of voice acting and a lot of acting in his life. Yeah, Keith David. So do yourself a favor and check out that episode where he is Gary's voice translator. That's the best thing I saw last week. Um, and yeah, that's really all I really have to discuss this week. Oh, there is one thing that I didn't go over, which is pretty funny to talk about. So today, in Kingpin Wrestling, it wasn't UFC. It was in Kingpin Wrestling, Kingpin Boxing, not UFC, Kingpin Boxing. Um, it's all Daniela Hemsley. She flashed the crowds after she won her boxing match. She is a OnlyFans creator. Um, and the clips on Twitter. You can find mostly anything on Twitter. You'll find it on Twitter. Daniela Hemsley, that's the name. Flash the crowd after victory. Listen, um, I'm no milkman. I don't proclaim myself as a milkman, and the video itself didn't even turn me on or anything crazy like that. But the idea of a female boxer flashing the crowds after picking up the victory, it's very funny to me. It's very funny to me. Um, and hey, credit to her because she is probably making a lot of money right now. And she will be making a lot of money. She will be getting a ton of public attention after 24 hours because it's already gone viral because obviously it will go viral if you flash your boobs after winning a boxing match. Um, it's just it's really funny to me. It's really funny to me. Um, that's enough of that. Um, guys, like I said, we'll be experimenting with this format, this version of the podcast more in the future. I might even, if I end up recording alone once again, I might even end up going live on Instagram on the podcast Instagram and see if y'all can pop in, and I might read a few of your comments. But until then, I've been PC. Hope you enjoyed your week. Hope you're staying hydrated. Call a loved one, check up on them, tell them that you love them. Um, you know, we'll I will be back for episode 132 of the We Hate Sports podcast as the OG child. Um, yeah, where we center around football and basketball. Episode 3 of the We Hate More Sports podcast, one that you're listening to right now. Um, we'll be back next week as well. It'll probably be on Friday and releasing Saturday. I would hope, depending on my schedule, depending on everybody's schedule. But there will be one. There will be one next week. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you go and follow our socials. Check out our Twitter and IG at WHS_podcast and our YouTube and TikTok at We Hate Sports. And I do gotta give just a really quick shout out to everybody involved, TK, Tolu, Dezzy, Gianni, Sean, everyone who has made this podcast so great. A couple more quick shout outs because e-gaming matters. Go and check out Crew's socials as well. Yes, I'm talking about Twitch channels. Go and check out twitch.tv/Visuals. Go and check out twitch.tv/R Visuals. Go and check out twitch.tv/ Rigby. Yes, Rigby 5-1. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I'm sorry, Rigby. Um, yeah, and everybody else that I haven't mentioned, I've been PC. I hope you have a wonderful day. And yeah, go birds. Go birds. Bye.